What's up everyone? Today we are reviewing Death Note. And just to be clear, we're going to be focusing on the manga, not the anime. Okay, let's go. Death Note is basically about a teenage boy called Light who manages to get his hand on a Death Note, which is a book that looks a little something like this. Now the cool thing about this Death Note is that it has the power to kill anyone whose name is written inside of it. Now there are many Death Notes and they are owned by Shinigami, aka gods of death. And Death Note begins when this sexy guy called Ryuk drops his Death Note into the human realm. Without going too much into the smaller details, Death Note follows the story of Light Yagami as he uses this book to murder criminals and create a new world that's free from evil. Now this ambitious goal leads him to abusing the Death Note as his mind is warped by godlike delusions that send him on a spiral into basically madness. All the while, the world's greatest detective, known only to the rest of the world as Al, is hot on his tail, and the story becomes a battle of wits between the two most intelligent people in the Death Note universe. Okay, now if that isn't enough to reel you in, let me give you a few reasons why this manga is one of my favorite of all time. Okay, firstly, the storyline is just insane. For almost the entire time of reading this manga, I was almost shaking with anticipation because the cat and mouse game between Al and Light is just so enjoyable to read. It's like watching two of the greatest boxers of all time fight each other, but instead of using their fists, they're using their brains. Except for this one time. Anyway, the story just flows so well and you watch Light's moral descent, and all the while Al is getting closer and closer, and this back and forth is just amazing to witness. In my opinion, this is one of the best storylines that I've ever read, and for pretty much the entire time, you really don't know how it's gonna play out. Reading this manga is almost an intellectual pursuit because I'm telling you, if you're not focusing, you're going to miss a lot. The second thing that I really loved about this manga were the characters, which are some of the best in all of fiction. The characters are given so much depth, and it's the little idiosyncrasies of each character that really make you connect and fall in love with them. For example, when reading this manga, take note of Al's posture and the way he reads things and the sweets that he's always eating. Or notice that Nia is always playing with toys, or that Ryuk just loves apples. On the surface, these seem like just basic add-ons, but without getting all year 12 language analysis on you, I really do think that they are conveying meaning. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like when creators pay attention to detail, that can go a long way in improving the audience's experience, and I think that Death Note did this brilliantly. Lastly, the thing that I loved most about this manga was that while reading it, and even after putting it down, I kept asking myself questions. Things like, is it okay to kill criminals? What would I do if I had the power to anonymously kill people? Would I be good? Would I be bad? Would I be so deranged as to believe that I had become an actual god? I found myself having these kinds of discussions with my friends about moral philosophy, so in a sense, this manga had an impact that was felt way after putting it down. Now, not all books can provoke that kind of internal discussion, and I think it's for this reason more so than any of the others that I really did fall in love with Death Note. Now, as for things that I didn't like, I have to be honest and say that there really wasn't anything that I noticed that I thought wasn't that great. Sometimes I guess I did find the plot a little confusing, and that if my mind did trail off, I really wouldn't have a clue what was going on. Fortunately, the manga self-explains quite often, sometimes maybe a little too much, which might be a bit of a criticism, but for me personally, I found it very helpful, and I think that Death Note struck a pretty good balance with it. So do I recommend this manga? The answer is a very big yes. If you are of the opinion that manga is just for kids, I strongly encourage you to get a copy of Death Note. I am super confident that this manga will change your mind. I read it on Shonen Jump, which is a super cheap app for reading manga, and if you're feeling up to it, I encourage you to watch the anime as well, which is another brilliant way to immerse yourself in the Death Note universe. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any other manga that you'd like me to review, please leave a comment and I'll do my best to make it happen. Okay, that's it. I'll see you guys next week.